Hi.
So I'm Shannon, and
I'm Gabby.
And we just wanted to make a little video to talk about a retreat that we're going to be running in March to Vrindavan, India, and a little bit about our story, a little bit about what we'll be doing, and hopefully it will help answer any questions for those of you that are thinking about the trip or interested in going to India.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a big deal to go. And so we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about like our stories, how we ended up going to India in the first place in this specific spot called Vrindavan, which is a holy city, one of the holiest cities in India. So I guess we'll start there, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, maybe a little bit about a couple years ago. Is it 2 years now?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Gabby, myself, and our friend Nicole ended up taking a trip, not ever thinking about running a retreat, but we ended up taking a trip to India that really Gabby piloted on taking a leap.
I went to like drop off my master's thesis paper because my advisor happened to be there, and it was just one of these things. And I think Shannon and I, we both talked about having this same sort of experience of like, there's a place that you hear about like your whole life and you study, yoga, so it's Indian things, and you're reading these classical Indian texts, and then you hear about it, but there was never that like pull to go until the moment that there was. And this trip just presented itself, and so I knew my advisor was going to be there, and he doesn't do anything by email. Like, he didn't want to read. Like, I couldn't just send it to him through email. He wanted a paper copy, so I was like, well, what if I hand deliver it? Not because I had to do that, obviously, but because it just felt like the perfect time to go. I guess I felt like that call. If I don't go now, when am I going to go? I didn't know that I'd be going back 3 more times.
Yeah.
Kind of took hold. But yeah, so I signed up. Nicole signed up to go, and then Shannon was like...
Yeah, same thing. I really, honestly, I didn't ever have a desire to go to India, although everyone always asked, especially being a yoga teacher. They're always asking when you're going to go, and same as Gabby was saying, it just didn't call to me until that moment when I walked in the studio, and Gabby and Nicole were going, and, I think I made a joke, like, oh, maybe I'll join you guys, and Gabby, in her beautiful way, was just like, yes, you have to come, and then it sort of became reality. And I have 2 small kids, and I thought, I can't go away for 2 weeks, and I ended up going home and sitting down on the couch and just opening up a calendar. And in the calendar, it was the time I'm divorced, and my kids were with my ex all but 3 of the days. And so all of a sudden it became easy to go, and I think by that night I had bought my plane ticket, and that's kind of how it happened. We had no idea, a week before that we'd be going to India, and it was like that was it. And so then we jumped on a plane, and thank goodness for Gabby's advisor, who literally spent every day with us, getting us involved in not just the city of Vrindavan, but also he had all the connections, and he kept saying to me, he's like, you need to run a retreat. And I thought, I'm not here to run a retreat. I was here for me, this one was for me. And it just became so overwhelmingly easy to run a retreat because he had it all set up that it was more effort to say no, if that makes sense. And so it just became, by the end of that trip, Gabby and I knew that we wanted to come back, and that this was a way for us to come back, and that we actually had the platform and connection and people to give a real experience, of what India is like, in the culture and in the city of Vrindavan. So, that trip for me was very... one of the things that I think happens in India is because it's so, there's nothing to compare to, there's nothing that reminds you of home, there's nothing that reminds you of America whatsoever, that I wasn't thinking about my kids or my family, or I wasn't reminded of anything. I had no memories, nothing was reminding me of anything because everything was new, and it just forces you to fully be in the present. And I think there's such chaos going on that you become the calm in the center, and that calming and that presence is really a gift that I have never ever been able to feel anywhere else, and it's indescribable really what happens. And I think it's that I'm not sure if it would have happened if I didn't have the call to go. I always tell people when they're interested in the trip, if you have the call, then you go, and if you don't. It's not one that you'll probably like if you if you're not feeling that pull. So once you feel the pull, it's an amazing journey and experience. And a little bit maybe about why we chose Vrindavan.
It's just us, so special. I'm so just overjoyed with what it is that we offer, because and really because of this gift that we've been given to have these connections and stuff, because there are places there's a ton of places to retreat in India, and they're very geared towards Westerners, and so there's a bit of I don't know if sugar coating is the right word, but it's geared toward, and that's not what we wanted. We wanted to give people a really authentic experience. That's the gift that we had, is that you get to step into what it is, what yoga means there, not what Westerners who do yoga here want over there. So it's really special. What yoga means there is really not about a heavy asana practice or yoga poses at all. The place that we're going, Vrindavan, is heavily steeped in the Bhakti yoga tradition, so the yoga of love and devotion, and it's powerful and palpable to be in the city that is just practicing yoga, practicing this love and devotion 24 hours a day. You can't not feel it. So you get to experience that there. We have Swami Satyanaraya Dasa, and he's the guru of the ashram that we stay at and study at and eat at, and he's brilliant and trained not only classically but also kind of up to regular academic standards too in India and here. So that being said, he can really relate and play put on those two hats of traditional Indian study and deliver that to us, but in a way that's super accessible and understandable. That's a huge gift, to be able to study with him.
Yeah, when we ran it last year, we weren't sure how many classes to have, and the one request we got after coming back was that people wish that they had more classes with him. That's how amazing he is. And so it's an amazing gift. He's a brilliant teacher and super relatable. And that's right at the ashram, and the beauty of this particular ashram as well, not only him, but the way that he holds his presence, is that we get to be exactly who we are as a group. He's not looking for lifelong students or anything like that. I mean, he's just a regular guy, and we're in the ashram being ourselves, and it's a really beautiful space to begin to see how yoga was taught, and to learn from a real master and a real teacher, and also feel comfortable being where we are, where you are in your own practice and your own interest. It's also, there's an Ayurveda clinic right there as well. So
everybody loves.
Yeah, so you can go and you go and get a treatment. I guess it's a treatment.
Different for everybody depending on you.
Yeah, they just look at you and take your pulse, and then all of a sudden you end up, getting prescribed something, and it's a wonderful, amazing, very unique experience, and that's really maybe the real thing about India, is that you're getting experience. I mean, it is experience from the beginning of the morning to when you wake up. I mean, there's just constant, you're in it, the temples, we go to temples, we get to be around town, there's shopping, so much culture, so much, I don't know, do you want to talk a little bit about Krishna and why? I mean, on a basic level? I mean, if...
Sure. So in Vrindavan, it's a city completely devoted to Krishna. One thing that I always heard of Hinduism as like a polytheistic religion, and I was just, interested to learn that it's like religious scholars don't consider it that. That there's like in all different areas, right? There's different gods that are seen as like the god, and so in Vrindavan it happens to be Krishna, and so that's what this whole city is pulsating with, is the love and devotion to that god Krishna, and Radha, which is the female version of Krishna, and so.
And it's where he was a child growing up, so there's lots and lots of stories, that we're gonna actually help the group that does come prepare a little bit this year and learn some of those stories. So it's got that childlike, joy
He's
as
a
well.
Fun god.
He's super fun. Steals butter, my favorite. Goes around, creating havoc and chaos. So like for adults, which is, what kids are great at, and I think it just reminds us to enjoy our life. I mean, that's what I get from it. Is it
Totally.
just reminds me not to be so serious.
The Leela. So all these stories about like his childhood, and they're all taking place at different places in the city that we'll go see, and they call it his Leela. It's like Krishna and Radha's play together. And so when you go to Vrindavan, they say, have an excellent Leela.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wishing you a beautiful Leela, because that's what this is for us too, is divine play.
Yeah. Yeah, we feel, we just, I'm so excited that we get to go back again. But, what else? There's also, you will go to a cow sanctuary, and that's like one of my absolute favorite things. I swear I fell in love with cows the first time I came, the first time I went. And that's a beautiful gift. We'll visit like a girls' school. So you really get to learn about some of the things that, are happening culturally as well. Of course, we go to the Taj Mahal, which is, people love the Taj Mahal, and, definitely it's not far from where we are, so you have to go, once you're there.
Elephants. You get to watch the elephants, take care of them.
Sanctuary, and so, there's some really great highlights, some spiritual walks around the town. You really get to see not only... there's so many different things that we do. It's so hard to talk about. Honestly, India is very hard to talk about because it is the experience, and no matter what you hear and what you've been told, you can't really prepare for it. So I don't like to, it's hard because you can't talk about it, and I also don't like to tell people too much so that there's expectations, but it's, what you get to see from even just the level, I often say it's like, I say this all the time, but India to me is just reality in your face. You get to see the love, the devotion, the joy, the beauty, but you also get to see poverty, and you get to see, struggle, and you get to see poop. You just do, it's not...
it's all at once.
You're not going to bring, it's not the kind of trip that you're going to bring your curling iron and do your hair. But you get to see everything at once, and they don't hide anything. And I think that that's such a gift because it's all there. And you get to just see the humanness, of what it is to be human, and also, what it is to be fulfilled, and what it is to just be completely present. And that's all the things that we talk about in yoga, all the things that we study. You don't have to know any of that stuff. Just being in India, you get the experience. You get everything. For me, everything I've been studying just sort of happens when you're in India because you're just in it. You have no choice. You can't be thinking about anything. You're just in it. And I don't know how else to explain it. The words, I feel like there aren't words to really...
It is tricky, and if you have any kind of background in, like spiritual study and stuff like this, specifically with the Indian texts, I feel like they just come alive from that experience in a way, that I had been studying for a long time, but it just really opened it up in a way that is undescribable. Just the references, like, you know, you hear about monkeys and stuff in these stories. What is that like? And then a monkey steals your bag.
And your shoe.
And then that means something totally different to you once you've had this experience. It's a lot.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. They say Govi, who's one of the people that takes us around, who's an absolute, like,
Love you, Govi,
incredible,
if you ever watch
incredible being, and Deepak.
Yes, Deepak
But,
too.
you know, everything from the monkey taking your shoes to stepping in something unpleasant, it's all auspicious. And there's just, like, that's the greatest thing, is that whatever it is that happens, it's, like, wonderful, you know? And there's always wonderful meaning behind it.
There's a meaning for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think Krishna does. He says, I was listening to some podcast by him before, and he said what you said. If you're not, like, called to go, then don't, because it's going to be difficult. He says about India that it's like, it's just, everything is a little bit more difficult there. And so you might step in dog poop, or dog poop or cow poop, any poop. You could get your shoes stolen or your sunglasses stolen. Like, there's difficulty there. But once you have that call in your heart to go, like, it's just keep getting louder and louder.
And it is play. You know, to us in America, if that happened, if someone stole my shoe, I'd freak out. And there it's like, you know, if a monkey kind of takes your shoe for a moment, you know, in exchange for a box of juice, it's play, you know? And it teaches us all these things become, it's playful and it's beautiful and it's just, there's just so much devotion, you know, and it teaches you so much that I think you just keep processing. I mean, I still am, like, constantly, you know, letting it all settle in, all the wonderful things that we get to do, which again, the temples, and we will go to Krishna Das's teacher's temple as well, ashram. So there's a lot of trips and a lot of things that we have planned that, again, are very hard to talk about, but it's if you have the call, I mean, you know, if you have the call, you just jump in. It's not something that you think twice about. From my perspective, I couldn't even begin. And the reality is, even whatever it is that happens, you know, everybody gets infected a little bit once they're there, you know, and on all different levels, you know, there's all different sorts of, like, revealing things, you know. The only other thing that I think that I was thinking about is, when I originally wanted to go, I thought, oh, you know, as my tendency is that I'll go and learn something, right? I have to learn something. What is this going to be for? Like, this will fix something, you know? Something good has got to come out of it, whatever. Why am I going? And I think what India has really taught me is that I'm totally okay just as I am. And so it's no longer about a trip that I go to try to fix anything or to better anything or to find something. It just really has allowed me to be okay as I am, and I think that comes fully just from being present. And, you know, it's hard for us to practice presence in our daily lives, but there it is just something that happens, and it's a beautiful gift to really feel like you can stop searching, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You're not gonna, I mean, you might get some nuggets that you bring home, some cool one-liners or something from our classes, but that's, like, so much not it. It goes so much more beyond that, like the teachings say. It transcends, you know, verbal things. That's why it's so difficult to talk about, but it transcends, like, your notions of good or bad. Like, this is a good or a bad experience that I had. It's not that. It's just something that you take in your heart, and it's there forever. And you might want to go back. Again and again and again.
Keep joining us every year, because we don't plan on stopping.
Yeah. There's something about it that just, it calls you.
It's
and
hard.
if it's calling you now, I would say maybe listen to it.
Yeah, give us a call. Join us. Reach
us.
out. Yeah, we're here, and we're going in March, and so it is filling, and so, you know, grab your spot if you'd like to join. And thank you again for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.